Okay, this was a funny lucid dream that I had. It was more artificial feeling, so yeah, it was definitely like, it was like a lucid dream. But there's some slight virtual reality elements in it. And I know the being who gave it to me because he had a flat face. He's given me many lucid dreams, and they're really long and drawn out. And he's taken me to England many times, and he always leaves me abandoned. Like, he'll create a scenario, and all the people are like, they leave me abandoned. And because they know how to resonate with you, and they know, you know, what pisses you off or what bothers you. And that one I didn't talk about yet, that one where he took me to England. I haven't talked about that one, but that was a really long one, seemed like. And he actually showed himself to me. And he's always placing me in bathrooms too, seems like. Except this scenario, there wasn't a bathroom. But yeah, so basically it was like me and my mom were in this strange town, like the alien, the flat-faced reptilian being didn't tell me what town I was in, but it was a strange town. It didn't feel like my town. And we were like walking around, getting ready to go to a festival under a big, huge tent, like a canopy, but big, huge tent. It was a massive tent. And that could probably fit at least, I don't know, maybe 300 people. It was a really huge tent. And at one point I remember, like, I was like looking up. It was really high, you know, ceiling, so to speak, the tent, the top of the canopy or whatever. And I was looking at the lights, you know, like those lights, spot, you know, those big glass bulbs you can get at Walmart or whatever, you know, that are like 6 inches across and round. It's like there was all those lights, and I was like looking at all the lights that were all on the ceiling and around the sides and stuff of the canopy, which that's kind of weird. But yeah, you know, those, I don't know what they're called, not a spotlight, but they're just big bulbs, hard, heavy glass bulbs. And they were like all over the canopy. And but anyway, so like me and my mom were like walking around. It's like we were getting ready to go to this festival. You know, we were getting ready to go like underneath it to go eat or whatever. So we were walking around. And anyway, so this, it was kind of weird. This was a festival put on by a dealership by Thompson Pontiac. But anyway, and my brother, he actually used to work there. So for some reason the aliens took that, or the alien, I mean, took that from my brain. And so anyway, so we were walking around, and my purse, I remember looking down. This happened like 5 times in this scenario. I mean, like 5 times that I would find my purse and I'd have it around me, and then 2 seconds later, I'm like, where the hell's my purse? You know, because they know what pisses you off, and, you know, they do that a lot. Make my purse disappear, or my wallet, or whatever. Sometimes it's my wallet, sometimes it's my whole purse. And so we were walking along, and so anyway, several times, you know, I somehow found my purse again, and it was around me again, and then it's like it would disappear again. Okay, so finally, so we just kept walking around, anticipating when we're going to go under the canopy, you know, when the festivities were going to start and we were going to eat lunch or whatever. And at some point, oh, maybe that was when I got abandoned. Yeah, I think that was when I got abandoned. But anyway, so we were walking along, and it's like we were outside of the canopy, when we were kind of walking around outside the canopy. And it seemed like it was, you know, 4 or 5 in the afternoon, maybe 4 in the afternoon. And so then all of a sudden, my mom was there with me, and we were still, you know, outside the canopy walking around. My mom was there with me, and then all of a sudden, boom, I mean, she just disappeared. I mean, out of nowhere, she just disappeared. And so I was like thinking in my head, I was like, shit, did she get abducted by aliens or something? And so then at that point, it's like I was all abandoned and she was gone. And like I say, this same being, he took me to England 2 to 3 times under lucid dreams, and they're really, really, really long. And come to think of it, I just forgot about that other trip to England under virtual reality dream state, and I was in a mall, and my mom had abandoned me again, or somehow I lost, I got abandoned, my mom like disappeared on me, so to speak, at the mall. But this was different. This was like, this was, the alien gave me these thoughts, like as if she got abducted by aliens. And that one, I didn't talk about some of those England ones because I wrote them down, and I can't remember where I wrote them down at. It'd be too hard to find them, but they were fun and they were long, 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 long. And I was abandoned a couple times, or one time I got locked up in the bathroom when I was like 4 years old at a dealership. Oh my God, at a freaking dealership. Okay, these aliens, they're going back, or this flat-faced being is going back to when I was like age 4 or 5, and I got locked in that freaking ass bathroom at a dealership, but it was like Chevrolet dealership. And I somehow got locked in the bathroom. I don't know, I didn't know how to unlock it. And I was like, ah! I was like screaming and shit. So see, that's kind of being abandoned right there. See, they'll go back many years and they place all this shit in your scenarios because they know how to piss you off and they know how to resonate with you. But they resonate with you good too, good and bad. They'll do a lot of good stuff too. Good feelings and bad feelings. They do both. But okay, so anyway, so then 2, 3 more times, my freaking purse, I kept losing my purse. And so I kept walking around trying to find it. At one point, it's like it's almost like I went through there was like a mall or something, like a strip mall or something off to the side. And it was kind of like open, like an open strip mall. And I kind of was walking through that, trying to figure out where my mom was. And in the meantime, I was trying to look for my purse. Because like I say, my purse got misplaced like 5 times during this whole freaking scenario. And okay, so by myself, I finally went under the canopy and I sat down with some strangers. It was like a man and woman, and it seemed like the alien was mocking off that show, Ozark, that real psycho couple that was in that show. It seemed like it was similar to that couple, but they weren't so psycho in this abduction. And so, or under this, under this lucid dream scenario. So I sat down with them, and they were just complete strangers, and there was like a box of crisp cookie cereal, and then a box of cereal that was similar to like Raisin Nut brand, but it seemed like there was a lot of other stuff in it. And so I can't remember the brand name of that box of cereal, but anyway, there's 2 boxes of cereal sitting there, and I remember thinking, I knew they weren't mine, but I remember thinking, okay, if they happen to get up, I'm gonna go ahead and like pig out on the cereal. Well, finally they did. That couple did get up, and they didn't seem to mind me just sitting there or whatever. But they finally did get up, and I was thinking, okay, I'm going to hurry up and, eat me like a bowl of cereal, or go ahead and grab these 2 boxes and take them with me. So I did grab the boxes, and so then, yeah, see, this scenario is kind of choppy. Okay, so anyway, yeah, this was more artificial feeling, but it was still fun, and it still stayed with me like almost all day long, even though it wasn't the best one I've gotten. But yeah, okay, so anyway, so I finally got up, and then it seemed like I was still, walking around trying to look for my mom. At another point, I went back into the canopy, or inside this big, huge tent canopy type of thing, and there was a guy that showed me a can of the fish food, this big can of fish food that I bought a couple weeks ago in real life, and it's just kind of weird. The aliens, they throw all these weird bits and pieces in the scenario. The scenario That doesn't really make sense. But anyway, so so he was like trying to sell it. Like he was trying to like, you know, anybody, like almost like being like an auctioneer, like anybody want to buy this? And I'm thinking, that's mine. He's trying to sell my shit. Cause that was my can of fish food. But why I had it in my, you know, why I brought it to the festival, I have no idea. It's just funny things that the aliens do. But yeah, he was like, stole it from me somehow and was trying to sell it to other, you know, people that were in the festival under the tent, under the canopy. So that was just a funny part. But anyway, okay, so I started walking around and trying to find my purse occasionally. If it, like I say, my purse disappeared on me 5 times. So, you know, it seemed like about 5 times I was like, I had it around me. Next thing I know, it's gone. You know, I had it around me. Next thing I know, it was gone. So anyway, okay, so finally, after that little auctioneer part where he was trying to sell my stuff, my big old canister of fish food. So then, you know, I went outside the tent, the canopy again, and I look, I can't remember how I got my cell phone, but I reached to get my cell phone somehow, and I looked down at my cell phone, and I tried to call my mom, and it said that it was like this computer generated female voice that said that, oh, this phone had been disconnected. And it was weird. It's like, so then I knew, okay, something's seriously wrong, because how could her voice message not come on? You know, so that was kind of weird. It was like electronic voice telling me that her phone was totally disconnected. You know, it wasn't my mom's voice on there, you know, voice message. So then that kind of like scared me further. Like, where the hell is my mom, you know? Well, then some time passed, and I checked my phone again, and then it's like I found out that she was okay. Yeah, it was really weird. It's like, I don't know, I think the alien was taking that part of my brain when I watched that movie Dark Skies or something, because in Dark Skies there's this weird part where it's like the boy is off in another dimension, you know, and he's coming through on some kind of radio or something. I think that's why the alien somehow picked that part from my brain. So anyway, so that was almost virtual reality, because it just sounded so real, you know. The computer woman, you know, electronically was like, you know, this voice had been disconnected and blah, 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 blah. Which, you know, it scared me, because I didn't think in such a fast, she hadn't been gone very long. There's no way it could just be disconnected like that. Okay, so anyway, let's see. Towards the end of the scenario, it's like I went back out and started walking around outside the canopy. And at that point, it seemed like they were getting ready for more people to come in to the festival, like as if, you know, they anticipated a lot more people coming to the festival. So then they started bringing in more tents and setting them side by side to the one that I already was like under, or had been under. And then this part was kind of virtual reality. It was kind of cool. I looked up at the, up at the sky or whatever. Of course, I didn't see a sky, but I was outside the canopy. It was huge canopy, and like I say, it had those weird, big old, huge glass bulbs everywhere inside the canopy. Which is kind of odd, because I don't know if they could, most canopies aren't really, or huge tents probably aren't going to have that many bulbs, So anyway, I can't remember if my mom reunited with me. I don't think she did, but I do remember the second time I called her, I knew that she was okay. I can't remember if she reappeared back into the scenario or not. I don't think so. I can't remember, but so then, so I was outside. I went outside the canopy again. I was walking around, and like I looked up, and there's this big, huge crane. I mean, massive crane, just like coming down at me, and it was it was holding a big, huge another canopy tent, but it was like sideways, like the crane was getting ready to come down, you know, sideways. Except, you know, once it got to the ground, then it would have been bam, you know, plopped on the ground in the proper way or whatever. And then it's like I looked over to my left and saw a whole bunch of other canopies, like huge canopies, just, you know, side by side, you know, because they were anticipating a lot more people to come to the festival. But anyway, and of course, when the crane was coming down at me like that, that part was kind of virtual reality, because, you know, it was more real. And at that point, I was like, I kind of feared for my life, because I was thinking, oh, I got to get out of here, because over to my left, it seemed like I was trapped in by all these other damn canopies. I mean, huge canopies. These were huge. And then I see this crane, like I was already blocked in by other canopies lined up to my left. And then, like I say, when I looked up in the sky and the huge crane came down at me with another huge, huge, huge canopy sideways, you know, I was like, shit, is this thing gonna hit me? And at that point, I was trying to, like, dodge out of the way and shit. But, and see, this, it may be the same being that gave me that lucid dream to Kansas City, that one that I put on here, because he made me try to go through really dangerous obstacles. Yeah, there's this one being that does that a lot. Tries to make me navigate through dangerous obstacles. But I never got injured or anything. But yeah, it was kind of fun. This was kind of a fun lucid dream. And I don't know, I can't remember. I think I did somehow have those Cookie Crisp cereal on the brain like a couple days prior to this experience, but I can't remember why I started thinking about that cereal. I don't know. So that's just kind of funny, man. They'll just throw bits and pieces, you know, it's just funny, random pieces in the scenario. It's kind of funny. But anyway, but yeah, it was kind of funny too. The auctioneer type of dude was like trying to sell my big canister of fish food. You know, which is kind of funny. Why would a human being want to eat fish food, you know, for lunch or whatever? But I knew it was mine. I knew he had somehow stolen it from me. But why I took it to the festival, I have no idea. Thanks for listening.